Backed by popular demand, I am once again showing you my team for a research area in Pokemon Sleep. Last time I did a video like this was at Taupe Hollow during EV week. So if you want to check out this video, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Today we are over at Cyan Beach. It is now 5 PM on Saturday, and I'm closing in on Master 11, which I should reach before I go to sleep tonight. My current area bonus is 30%, so if you were wondering how your team compares to my team, this is the number that you gotta adjust for. Now, I show you these teams not because you should all be running the same team as I do. I'm showing these to you guys just so you guys can get a feel of how I play my game. And you really should only invest in a Pokemon if their sub-skills and natures are really good. So for example, I've never in my life caught a really good Doduo, whereas Piggy has a really good one, so she always runs a Dodrio in Cyan Beach. Me on the other hand, I was very lucky to very early on have a Totodile that has Berry Finding S, and it's one of the early Pokemon that you actually want Berry Finding S on. And when I say early, I mean it's because water berries are what's favorite for Cyan Beach, an early island, therefore it's an early Pokemon. And it has really good sub-skills as well. It's got Helping Speed S, Helping Speed M, and then eventually Skill Trigger and Inventory, which are less useful. So I had everything in the right order. And a bit of variety with Oil as a level 30 ingredient drop. While the nature is not perfect, if you get a good Totodile, you should invest in it early because it will carry your game for a very long time. In fact, I used this Totodile, or Feraligatr, also in Taupe Hollow, Greengrass Isle, and possibly in Snowdrop Tundra as well, because it's just so high level now. And of course, high level means a higher berry strength. And water berries are a stronger berry, in fact, ranking number 6 out of all berries. Whereas Dodrio's berry, which is the flying type berry, unfortunately ranks the lowest. The Palm Tree berry is the lowest berry strength of all. But that's not to say that you shouldn't use a Dodrio. If you get a really good one that has Berry Finding Yes and Helping Bonus, and Dodrio is actually a bit faster than, say, Feraligatr, then I would say it's worth the investment. Now, the reason why I have 2 healers on a team, I don't generally recommend 2 healers on a team. You can if they're really good, and that's the case here. Not only are these 2 healers both favorite berries, because fairy berries are favorite for Cyan Beach, I also have Berry Finding S on the Jigglypuff, a relatively good skill trigger, so this skill trigger here, and it has good speed, which helps skill trigger just a tiny bit. And it is relatively useful for dessert weeks, which I'm not in right now, with all that honey. And the same goes for my Slowbro, which has also Berry Finding S and Help Speed. So they're really good skills for a Slowbro, given how slow the Slowbro evolutionary line is. Now, I didn't evolve this one from Slowpoke. I caught that straight off the bat. I think it might have been hungry. I fed it a premium bonus biscuit, and I caught it straight away. So while normally I would recommend you going down the Slowking line, because Slowking is just a little bit better than Slowbro, although more costly because of King's Rock, and I would normally recommend you evolve from Slowpoke because you would have level 2 on this main skill instead of level 1. But of course, the other reason why I've invested in this Slowbro is because of this. There's not so many Pokemon that can drop this, the Slowpoke tail. And I wanted to unlock that so that in my ingredient magnet and ingredient tickets, they can drop Slowpoke tails. But don't forget that for that to happen, you need to have at least registered that Slowpoke tail just the one time. So your Slowbro or Slowpoke has to drop a Slowpoke tail at least one time to be registered in the ingredients notes. Otherwise, it cannot drop in your ingredient ticket or ingredient magnet. And not to forget that because of how strong Slowpoke tails actually are, at around 3 times the strength provided compared to the average ingredient, the Slowpoke tail is definitely a nice thing to have. In fact, a point that's not often made is that because of how strong Slowpoke tail is, And it makes for the best end game ingredient because it doesn't take up as much of your ingredient bag space or your cooking pot space. If you hypothetically clear out your entire bag space and just filled it with slowpoke tails, the value in your ingredient bag is worth almost 3 times that than if you were to store apples. And the other ingredient that you should unlock early would be soft potatoes, which I explained in this video here, which I'll leave a link in the description below if you don't know what I'm talking about. So it almost feels like every Pokemon on my team has Berry Finding S, and that's almost true. So I've got Berry Finding S on Feraligatr, which is my hard carry every week. I've got it on Wigglytuff, which is great because it doubles the berry strength provided to Snorlax, and the same goes for my Slowbro. And as you can see, my energy bar doesn't go down very much. Now, because it's curry week for me this week, one of the strongest dishes I can be making is the grilled tail curry. And now you can see why I've got a Gengar on my team. This curry takes 25 fiery herbs and 8 slowpoke tails. And Gengar is one of the few Pokemon that can drop fiery herbs as an ingredient specialist. While being very fast, Gengar does have one of the lowest ingredient drop rates. And I previously explained that in this video here. So where you can, you should try and get as much ingredient finder or ingredient nature up in your Ghastly line as possible. So why did I choose to invest in this Gengar? And it's to do with the fact that it also has, like the rest of my team, Berry Finding S, making it a dual specialist in berry and ingredients, so I'm not as hurt when it's not dropping ingredients. But if your Gengar doesn't have ingredient finding up and doesn't have berry finding S, most of the time you're just getting one berry drop. Doesn't matter if it's really fast, you're not getting much from the Gengar at all. So unfortunately, because of the low ingredient drop rate and the fact that every tail dish I need 25 fiery herbs, I'm really struggling this week to cook one of the top dishes. Not to mention having unlocked mushrooms, which I was always going to do, the ingredients dropped are being shared between mushrooms and herbs, which got me really considering investing in another Gengar that purely has fiery herbs for curry weeks. But that's something I'll do a bit later on down the line because I just don't have all the resources for that. As for my 5th member this week, it's Blastoise or Blastmilk. Honestly, it's not my favorite Pokemon, it's the one that I tend to switch out. So despite having Oranberry, which is favorite for Cyan Beach, and fairly good skill trigger, which I need for ingredient magnet, and good speed, and it has ingredient finding up, which is really good for cacao and milk. The problem is that this is not dessert week, and the need for all of this is not very high. So I am switching back and forth between Blastoise and my other fiery herb Pokemon, which is Houndoom. Unfortunately, Houndoom is a berry specialist, so that means it's not going to be giving me much herbs at all. But at the very least, this Houndoom has helping bonus. So these are the stats of my entire team. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, where I talk about my team building, don't forget to leave a like.